Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, focusing in on another covert and overt narcissist manipulation tactic, and that is really attention seeking. Being the center of attention, wanting everyone to essentially be admiring, supporting, being there to essentially be like a groupie to them. And I think this is a really interesting dynamic of them because the narcissist being really largely derived by excessive self-importance and to the detriment or hurting or exploitation of others. So in other words, feeling that their importance is way up here and everyone else is way down here. And essentially, when you're encountering a narcissist who wants all this attention, this admiration, constantly all eyes on them, all applause for them, it's a very one direction, one sided relationship. Realize that they oftentimes lure people in, they hook people in, they groom and condition supply, essentially by when they want all that attention, they want all the laughter to be for them, all the comments to be about them. Everything is one directed towards really how you mirror and you reflect the narcissist. So they need that positive mirroring. They need you to keep that mask in place, and realize what's so pathological about that narcissist is that the mask that they're putting out there is not the real person. So when they want to rope you in, when they want to hook you in, and they have that excessive need for admiration, that excessive need for attention, and that excessive need for mirroring of their false self, you're in essence perpetuating their false self. So the person who you are communicating with, the person who you are acknowledging, the person who you are applauding, that narcissist, that person who has an inflated sense of self and lack of empathy and lack of understanding for you, where you're coming from, and acknowledging your needs, your viewpoint, validating your opinions, what is important to you, your values, and being there for you to truly have your back and understand you and be there for you. That narcissist is putting forth that mask, and really there's a private self to this person, an authentic self that they're so trying to cover up and conceal. And so they don't want you to see that part of them. They want the attention to be off of their true authentic self and onto their false self, their mask, their disingenuous self. And so when they originally try to derive all that attention, all that admiration, all that support, all that supply from people around them, realize that they do it oftentimes, by, wanting you to feel that it is in your best interest to be their accolade. So to be their to be in their to be their groupie. I think let's just keep with that analogy that it's almost like you've heard of like the rock star. Who has groupies, meaning a groupie is someone who, is like on their tour bus or is like their fan. And I'm not, it's a different thing where the rock star then takes advantage of their groupies and, thinks, well, isn't it great? Isn't it fun to be, my groupie? In other words, you might have given them a good time. You might have put on that show for them. But that rock star does not really care about that groupie. They don't care, about them as a person. They don't care what they're interested in. They don't care, what they're about. And, that rock star will not be there for that groupie in their time of need, their time of emergency, or really get their back. So even though this is kind of a universal example, I want to utilize a universal example for you to understand that this, in essence, is how the narcissist really views their supply, how they view the oftentimes their support relationships, who help promote their status, mirror their status to them, mirror their position, and you're mirroring their mask, not their genuine self. So oftentimes that's why what presents generally, in to the psychologist is that, I'm feeling that there's something missing, and I feel like there's this void of connection. It's because you're not connecting with this person's genuine self. You're not interacting with the narcissist's genuine side. You don't have that to call upon. You don't have that to build upon in your life. So when you feel like you're kind of like isolated or alone, it's because you don't have that genuine connection, and you don't have that fostered and developed within yourself. So you don't have that mirrored, your authentic self mirrored back at you. You don't have the experience of your authentic self. So that's why you would tend to feel insecure and like something is wrong in the relationship, and you kind of feel like you eventually start to feel empty and drained and unhappy, and like you're regressing in your life because that authentic part of you is not mirrored, connected to, and given life and given air to breathe and experienced. Because once you can really truly live your authentic self and validate it and know this for yourself, you don't have to get that mirroring from someone else, which is the locus of control, outside of you. The locus of control is within you, and that creates a true self-esteem and a true authentic security and trust and self-esteem, which is that connection, which is love beyond words, which is love beyond, which is self-love. I mean, you have this good feeling within you. It doesn't need necessarily to be mirrored by another person. You don't need a supply source. You have this deep within you. You know you're connected to an authentic good, a true humanity. You have true values, and you know that you reflect this within you, and it's that connection that you then foster with others. So it's not a placating or a falseness. You don't need to resort to that to have a relationship. So that's why the relationships with the covert narcissist can feel like there's something missing. You're interacting with that mask. It's that you're not connecting to that genuine self. So realize that you're not doing them good either if you're placating that false self. And so, don't get hooked in to that trap where you're then serving as a supply source and you're not getting that received back. So, a healthy relationship should have reciprocity, where it's a give and take. In other words, you're operating on a genuine level. It's much more empowering to be living from that genuine space versus on, a sort of a cylinder, almost like like a generator that comes in, when your true supply source is down. What is it called? Like if you had a storm and then you have a backup generator. So if you're only acknowledging the false self with a narcissist, and I apologize that this video is going a long time, but I think it's very important to understand that if you're just, interacting and a supply source to a narcissist, you're on that backup generator. That backup generator is very expensive to run. It doesn't fully ignite your personality. It doesn't give you that full empowerment experience and that really passion. So you're not able to live your passion with the presence of a narcissist. You're on that backup generator. You're on that mirroring and that one-sided relationship where you're trying to mirror and constantly feed their ego needs versus living from your genuine self. So it's very important to really begin to distinguish that. Use your metacognition that we've discussed here, as delineated by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he describes it very well, which is your ability to think about your thoughts and become aware of that, and so then you can have power to change that. Realizing if you've been programmed and conditioned that way, that, to recondition and reprogram yourself so you're always working from that authentic source, that authentic self, that authentic center, because that's where your true passion is, your true identity, and you're coming from your true values, so you won't feel so depleted and depressed and anxious when around those people. peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.